Hey guys, what's up? Brooke here with another commentary, and today will be... Wait, what?
Oh, did no one tell you? You're on the F.O.X channel now.
You're Brooke and Raven? Yeah, I know. I suddenly popped up in a house that nobody knows about and is only here for Planking Beans too, surprisingly enough. Funny coincidence, am I right? Wait, who put that in?
Me, because despite having literally no prior knowledge of how I got here, I'm editing this stupid thing.
Hey, I see you guys are stuck here too. I have no idea how we got here, but we can make the best of a bad situation anyway.
And how would we go about doing that?
Well, this is a comm group, so...
Say no more.
But do we have any material?
Nope.
Not that I know of.
No, but I had this letter from Renegade.
Well, what are you waiting for, you fuck? Open it!
Okay. Yeesh.
Hey guys, I heard you all need some commentary material, so I shot you with some sleep darts, put you on the F.O.X channel.
Wait, he kidnapped us?!
Well, that explains why I can't feel my legs.
Shh, he's still reading.
As I was saying...
And put a video in this letter for you to commentate on. Have fun! Or don't. It's, pretty terrible. Good luck.
Renegade Master. Let's watch the video then, since we're stuck here until we do.
Might as well, am I right? It's obviously the only way out of here.
How would a video be a key? That doesn't make any sense.
Brooke, this is a commentary. It's the only conclusion that makes sense.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Now everybody in the club getting tipsy. Now everybody in the club getting tipsy. Now everybody in the club getting tipsy.
You know how overrated games lists are generally terrible because they lack focus or understanding of what the word even means? Well, here's another one, and it's made by Rabbidluigi, a guy who makes discussion videos, impression videos, reviews, countdowns, basically everything except porn.
Wait, Rabbidluigi? Is he a discount Rabbidluigi?
He's a dollar store Rabbidluigi.
There are lots of games that the majority of gamers seem to like a lot for some reason, but when I get my hands on them, they're either okay or not really that good.
Wait, with that text on screen, you either do not know how to adjust how long the text is on screen, or your grammar is really subpar.
I'm more concerned that the text is left on screen for this long over footage for 3 different games when it's supposed to refer to just one game. Did you just forget to adjust how long it would be on screen? That's 10 points off for bad presentation, dude.
And before anyone says we're just nitpicking, this is still a flaw that I could easily fix in future videos. That is, if he cares at all about the quality of his work. And it's the first few seconds of the video, which leaves a poor first impression. In just 7 seconds, he's already told us that he doesn't even pretend to care about his presentation.
Or he meant to leave that text up for that long and was talking about all 3 of the games he showed, in which case it should say these games. No matter how you look at it, this is not a good.
This situation's falling apart by the second.
I mean, this isn't as bad as Flame of Unity's intro, but MY EYES! Why does everyone think this is acceptable? Is this 2012? Is this from before Trees of Prey just hit puberty? Is this from before I turned all my friends gay? Why the slow and low quality and poorly synced montage intros? Get my attorney!
Anyway, that was the slowest intro I've ever seen. Holy cow. Not only was the footage garbage with how laggy and slowed down it looks, it has no flow to it whatsoever. Stop messing with my funky flow.
To add on to this laggy and slow game footage, this intro is legit 30 seconds long. I get montage intros, but you really shouldn't leave the audience hanging on the last branch of the tree because of how long it is.
By the way, good luck reading that saturated blue text. I certainly tried.
This situation's falling apart by the second.
Number 5. Super Mario World. Yes, I went there. Super Mario World is one of the world's most overrated games.
Hey guys, I put Super Mario World as number 5 in overrated games list! Am I cool yet? Am I?
And right away, we see one of the most obnoxious tropes of overrated games lists at work. Fun fact, emphasizing how unpopular your opinion is or how sacred the game is comes off as seriously douchey. It may not be your intent, but it's like this. It assumes that your audience will attack you just for having an opinion that's different from theirs, which is insulting to the audience. And it comes off as you trying to make yourself out to be some brave soul who dared to speak his onion, when really you're not special in that regard.
We get that this is the internet and there's going to be disrespectful people everywhere, but that doesn't give you a free pass to be one of them. If you want people to respect your opinion, you should give that same respect back to them. Even if the game in question is universally loved, going neener neener neener, look how different my onion is. doesn't make you look good.
I don't think it's a bad game and it can be quite fun, but it certainly gets much more praise than it deserves. The gameplay is horrid. While the controls are responsive, the physics are just far too slippery, making it near impossible to land on small platforms or even stay on one.
Okay, let's pretend for a second that you made a valid complaint against Super Mario World. Would it kill you to find footage that actually matches what you're saying? Because what you are showing doesn't demonstrate how you have a hard time landing on platforms.
Right after saying Super Mario World can be fun, you say the gameplay is horrid. If the gameplay is really as bad as you say, shouldn't it bother you enough to bog down the fun of the game as a whole? This isn't inherently contradictory, but your wording is still way off here.
And bearing in mind that this is a platformer where the challenge lies in the platforming, yeah, of course smaller platforms are harder to land on. Yeah, you have to be precise to succeed in this type of game. That's Platformer Design 101.
The level designs in this game, for the most part, are not even that memorable. Whenever I come back to the game, I can't remember where anything in the levels were like I could in any other Mario platformer. While the game did plenty of things right, it also does quite a bit wrong, preventing a solid experience.
What does the game do right and wrong? You legit don't elaborate on anything, and I'm left here on the streets confused and scared, and I go one more time, I feel like we're gonna lose it. Mommy, I don't wanna go!
Autumn, it's an overrated games list. What do you expect from this? Elaboration? That's crazy talk!
Yeah, with a list like this, you're setting yourself up to fail. Why put in the effort to begin with? Quality control's a foreign concept to those stuck in 2012.
And for that entire segment, you threw out vague statements and didn't even bother to talk about why the game gets too much praise. You mentioned a few negative qualities about the game, sure, but this isn't a games I don't like countdown. It's an overrated games countdown, and half of the equation is the praise the game gets. You failed to bring this up even once, meaning that this whole segment went absolutely nowhere.
Number 4, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. If I didn't make it clear already, I don't like games that aren't clear on what to do or where to go.
I mean, of course you didn't make it clear beforehand because it's the first time you bring it up in this video.
He could have said something similar in the previous video.
Maybe, but the way he worded it makes it sound like he already talked about it in this particular video. Newcomers,
Like us!
wouldn't have known this before watching.
Link's Awakening is no exception. I get lost very easily whenever I play, and when I am lost in a game not knowing what to do or where to go, I'm not having fun at all. Some say figuring out where to go or what to do is part of the fun, but let me ask, how is that even fun at all?
Yo, Scrub, get good.
Or, maybe that was kind of the point of Legend of Zelda, to find your own way around, because it's a exploration game? What'd you expect Zelda to be, an on-rails FPS? Guys, get the guns!
I'm on it, I'll be right back.
The game isn't going to hold your hand all the time, it's trusting you, the player, to figure it out. And a lot of people like to get lost in the game world. How dare us for having a different opinion?
Whether you find the exploration fun or not is irrelevant, because this is an explorative game. If that's not your thing, it doesn't make the game overrated, it just means it's not for you.
It's not like the world is terribly monotonous anyway. Link's Awakening has a variety of landmarks to help you get your bearings, which is more than can be said for, say, the first Zelda game. Which brings up an interesting question. Every game in the Legend of Zelda series demands to some degree that you figure out where to go or what to do. Why are you singling out Link's Awakening for this? How is it a worse offender than other games in the series?
Imagine you're out in the middle of the woods and you have no clue where you even are on the planet. Chances are, you're most likely not having fun when you're lost.
Probably because you're not out killing enemies, visiting landmarks, collecting things, or interacting with people when you're lost somewhere in real life.
Making a game like this is like releasing a game called Good Luck Figuring Out What the Heck You're Supposed to Do in This Game, rated F for frustration. Sometimes people aren't even able to make it home. But that's enough about that. Let me make this clear. I don't hate the game. I've certainly enjoyed it when I knew what I was doing or where I was going. I've constantly been checking a walkthrough on my 3DS, leaving a questionable amount of time on my internet browsers, just so I could advance in the game. I'm not a fan of confusing games.
If you didn't have an issue later on and enjoyed the game as you got good, also using a walkthrough good scrub with the game's main fundamentals, why is it still on this list? This really goes down to the matter of opinion and not really overrated. Hell, you even said that you're not a fan of these types of games, so that automatically makes your reasoning for it being overrated fall flat. Can someone shoot me now?
I got the guns. Did I hear someone wanted to off themselves?
Jesus, I was kidding!
Aw, come on!
Well, there goes the ammo. Now, how about this rocket launcher?
You can kill yourself after this commentary is done.
Pushing aside how overkill George's method of suicide is, for this entire segment you didn't give any mention of what makes this game overrated. At least with Super Mario World you mentioned that the game was popular, here you didn't give any indication that the game is even praised. You only talk about what you don't like about the game, and that's it. You seeing a pattern here yet?
Number 3, Cave Story. Not even sure how this one got so popular.
Thanks for giving away that you didn't even try to understand why the game is praised, thus rendering moot the entire point of an overrated games list. I find it difficult to take your opinion seriously when you're this lazy about presenting it.
Sure, the beginning of the game is fine and all, and makes you believe that you're going to have a good time. Cave Story is one of the games that lied to me. This game suffers from one of the biggest flaws an RPG could have.
What? Freaking what? Cave Story is a platform adventure game, you frick!
I'm going to die of AIDS and scream until I pass out!
Hold me back, guys! I'm gonna kill him!
No, Brooke! He has so much to live for! Think of the children, Brooke! Think of the children!
Do you think I care?
I didn't know games could lie to you. Let's chalk this up to unrealistically high expectations, shall we?
Backtracking. Backtracking is one of the worst things that you could ever put into a video game. It wouldn't be so bad if you didn't have to go back that far, but no, you have to go clear back to the beginning of the area. Once I get to the end of the section, I'll find out I'll need something from earlier on, but I wouldn't have been able to get it then because I'd have to trigger that event at the end of the section. This game is also not very clear on what to do or where to go. It seems pretty straightforward at first, but once you've made it far enough, you're likely going to take a while to figure out what needs to be done.
Backtracking is inherently bad? Duly noted. Sorry, Metroid, you don't have a single good game. You may not find it fun, but there is an audience for games with backtracking that can be done well. But you don't go any further into this. Did Cave Story handle backtracking poorly? If so, then how? Do you see how the lack of elaboration really hurts your presentation?
Let's look in some of the areas of the game, shall we? Mimiga Village. You have to explore around to get to the next area, but it isn't that big. Egg Corridor. Yes, you have to go all the way to the end and back after you rescue Sue, but again, it isn't that big of an area, so backtracking isn't that bad. Plus, you should have gotten the missile launcher, making it 2 weapons you can switch between to blast the enemies on your way back. And finally, Grass Town. Yes, there are bits where you have to backtrack, some longer than others, but the level is still small enough for it to not take too long to get where you need to go. The game does gradually expand the amount of backtracking you need to do, but the levels are compact enough to where it doesn't take that long unless you really suck at the platforming. It's not too common where you need to backtrack through the entire level without it broken up in some way. Also, this game does expect you to explore and figure things out. There are NPCs littered about that can give you tiny hints of what to do or where to go. This is an exploration Metroidvania game at its core, and if you don't like having to explore and to progress, there isn't much that can be done about that.
And even then, backtracking isn't necessarily an aspect of Cave Story that the game is praised for. For all you know, it could be something that even fans of the game generally don't like much, which makes your point about the game being overrated considerably less valid. If the game gets undeserved praise for an aspect that isn't praised, then is the game overrated? No!
Another one of Cave Story's biggest problems is its level system. It is the only game I have ever played where your weapons level down. I get that games need some challenge, but this is more of an inconvenience than anything.
It's not an RPG, you scrub nugget! This is supposed to bring more balance to the game by giving you an incentive to not get hit. And the game gives you more ways of evading attacks as you go along. It's a way for the player to improve their skills at the game. It's literally the get good mechanic. If your weapon stayed at level 3, the game would be too easy. I hope your pencil lead breaks.
Also, screw Curly Brace. I don't like her at all.
Let's not explain why I don't like Curly Brace. I'll just say fuck you and leave it at that. Sound good? Good. Audiences definitely don't need elaboration.
It was a joke, Autumn. It's perfectly acceptable when it's a joke.
Oh, my mistake. I keep forgetting that Rabbidluigi shit scripting is just a prank, bro.
Number 2, Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
You're kidding me, right? Brawl is considered by the Smash Bros. Fanbase to be one of those series' weaker entries, and the ones that get the most praise and attention are Melee and Smash 4. Spending even 5 minutes in the Smash fanbase would tip you off that Brawl isn't remembered fondly. Do you even internet?
Also, it's evident that this was a top 5 most disappointing games list in disguise all along. It was apparent in the number 5 segment, the number 4 segment, number 3... Wait... It's the Illuminati!
Why must you lie to us like this?
This situation's falling apart by the second.
The graphics, oh gosh, I can't stand them. It looks so awful. How is it that the polygons from the original are so much nicer to look at?
How?!
I first played this game at a friend's house, and I didn't even last 5 minutes in this installment because it was so awful. The first 2 games had it right, and out comes this game almost ruining the franchise for me, yet everybody loves this garbage.
What did we just say about the general opinion of this game now? What corner of the internet are you hanging out in?
Heck, I was pretty skeptical on Smash 4, which I found out wasn't that bad, but Super Smash Bros. No longer feels the same, all because of Brawl.
While I could talk about how childish this makes you look, given that apparently games that aren't Brawl are less enjoyable because of Brawl, this does not matter. Your opinion on the franchise as a whole is irrelevant to why you think Brawl is overrated. Rabbidluigi, here's how you write an entry to an overrated games list. Talk about why the game is popular and offer your different perspective.
What's great about this spectacular failure is that from a certain angle, you can legitimately call this game overrated with statistics backing you up. Of all the Super Smash Bros. Games, Brawl has the highest review scores and the highest sales figures, yet you think it's the worst in the series. A perfectly good explanation was right there in front of you, yet you missed the mark entirely.
This situation's falling apart by the second.
It's just Metroid has the same flaw as Link's Awakening. It's not clear on what to do or where to go. However, Link's Awakening was much better about it.
But how? You had Link's Awakening on the list and you criticized it for the exact same thing for which you're criticizing Metroid. I get that some games are better about handling a thing you don't like than others. I get that one game with a huge flaw may have more things to enjoy than another game with the same flaw. But by that point, you should probably consider going back to your script and at least trying to tell us how Link's Awakening was supposedly better or Metroid was supposedly worse. There are definitely words coming out of your mouth right now, but you're not actually saying anything. If not for your delivery and speaking pattern, I would be completely convinced that you went at this unscripted. That's how poorly you've structured and explained your choices for this countdown.
Did you give away your final thoughts?
You know nothing!
But what else could you have to say?
Autumn, this countdown is a fountain of problems. You couldn't possibly believe this is the worst of them.
Shit!
Metroid is pretty much good luck figuring out what the heck you're supposed to do in this game, and I don't like games that leave me so confused on what I'm supposed to do. I just explore the areas waiting for stuff to happen, but the game just gives me way too many paths to choose from, and I don't even know where to go first.
I'll grant you that yes, Metroid is extremely open-ended and gives you nothing on where you're supposed to go. But consider that you're being completely unfair here. You're talking about an NES game and the founder of an entire subgenre of adventure games. It's to be expected that it'll have a lot wrong with it after 30 years being released.
This doesn't mean the problems with the game don't exist, but consider this too. You could argue that finding your own way ahead is the point of the experience. Draw your own map and try to find the quickest path through the game after multiple playthroughs if you want. Or you could take it slow and easy and enjoy your surroundings. We get that this isn't your thing, nothing is for everyone after all, but the experience of not being your cup of tea does not make the game overrated.
And you're not even the first to criticize Metroid 1 for this anyway. The general consensus on this game is that it didn't age well for the exact reasons you criticized it. Metroid 1 is mainly praised these days for founding Metroidvanias. Again, if your criticism of the game are things the game isn't praised for, it's not overrated.
This situation's falling apart by the second.
It should go without saying that I really don't care about completing the game. I'll just stick with some other stuff.
What do you mean it should go without saying? You never gave indication of this before. Why would your ambivalence toward completing games of all things be the one thing that should go without saying?
And what other stuff are you sticking to? Not completing games? This is so vague and useless a statement that I might actually be going blind. You did this to me, you dollar store shit!
I may have said lots of negative things about these games, however, I don't believe any of them are bad games.
Yeah, that's definitely the impression we got from this.
If you ever see me toss a Super Smash Bros. Game in the garbage, it would be Brawl.
I can see the headline now. Bullet found in the foot of trash tier countdown creator.
They just aren't as good as everyone says they are.
You say that, but not once did you bother explain why people like these games more than you do. You missed the whole point of what makes a game overrated. 10 out of 10 would reason again.
Super Mario World is fun and full of many secrets to find. It also has quite a memorable soundtrack. Link's Awakening is quite enjoyable when you know where you're going or what you're doing. Cave Story is okay for the most part, and Metroid really isn't that bad in my opinion.
You waited until now to state any positives towards 4 of the 5 games you placed on here, but that wouldn't be so bad if it was relevant in any way. This has nothing to do with what makes the games overrated because it's not your positive remarks of these games that make them popular. It's everyone else's.
And that's the end of the video, so hey, final thoughts time.
Before we do that, you know what I just realized?
Hmm?
The title says featuring Toon Squid, but that person never appeared once in the whole video.
Oh, okay. Can we tack featuring manga comment onto the title of ours?
Raven, I'm appalled that you would stoop to such a deceptive—
guys?
George, stop triggering the children or I'll have to
The video's not over yet.
Wait, what?
Anyways, I didn't think that me rambling on about the things I didn't like about these games would be enough, so here's Toon Squid with a game he considers overrated.
So you brought in a guest to talk about one game they thought was overrated, even though it's completely unrelated to the rest of the countdown and is not even in the actual list. This serves what purpose? I've seen a similar case before and, well, let's just say it won't do him good.
You know what? No, I refuse to go on any longer! This Toon Squid person did nothing throughout the entire video, and Dollar Store Rabbit here thought it'd be a great idea to just throw him in at the end! For no reason at all! I may be a commentator, but I am a human with standards, and I will not—
What? He was being loud and annoying.
Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time was one of the first games I picked up for my Nintendo 3DS when it first launched, and I despised it. The game left a bad taste in my mouth with the Zelda franchise, and it still does to this day, which I occasionally receive hate for, but whatever.
Brooke, what's that?
A present for Toon Squid.
Do I even want to know?
Yeah, because it's a voice that actually emotes. Your monotone voice is putting everyone to sleep.
I feel like people overhype this game because of nostalgia and the fact that they grew up with it.
And it's definitely not because the game looks good for the time, has a well-paced story, interesting environments, side quests, puzzles, dungeons, bosses, or just because it's a fun game. No, people definitely won't have this game because of nostalgia.
I recently went through and played the game and disliked every moment of it, but at least I can use it to homebrew my Nintendo 3DS.
And it came just as quickly as he went, leaving no impact on the video except padding it out. Rip any hope for this countdown.
We'll bury our hopes alongside Raven.
Barry, what now?
Never mind.
But just in case you're not clear on what was wrong with this, the title of your video says featuring Toon Squid, yet he added absolutely nothing to your segments, and the one thing he contributed to the video could have been thrown away and it would have made no difference, especially since his opinion on Ocarina of Time isn't even part of your list.
This might not be so bad if Toon Squid didn't admit in the comments that he agreed with most of your opinions on the actual countdown, meaning you could have collaborated with him in the main body of the list, yet you didn't anyway. You had a potential resource that you didn't use.
And now the video is really over. Final thoughts, everybody?
In the short time I've been doing commentaries, I've seen a lot of lazy videos, but nothing quite like this. It's clear from the way you structured this that you want to be like countdown creators in the vein of the guys on Hidden Block, but it's apparent from beginning to end that you just did not even try with this video. Aside from one decent joke in the number 1 segment, your script feels rushed and straight up incomplete. How do I know this? Toon Squid was thrown in at the last minute, you barely elaborated on anything, and you threw out a lot of vague statements with no substance. I get that your opinions are your opinions, and I can sympathize with you to a degree when it comes to frustration with games that leave you with no sense of direction. But even when you take personal taste into account, it's obvious that you have no clue what makes a game overrated. And on the off chance that you do know what makes a game overrated, you have a funny way of showing it, what with how you barely even try to account for popular opinion. You may not have been condescending or dickish for the most part, but my goodness, you were lazy! It's clear from looking at your channel that you want it to go somewhere, but unless you start putting effort into what you do, that is not happening.
I find overrated lists to be walking on eggshells to begin with. It's basically the creator saying, "Durr, look at my contrary onions, y'all suck for liking something popular." They are rarely done well because while other subjects are opinionated, this topic feels especially so, and it makes it hard to really prove why these games are overrated. But back to your list in question. Your choices don't make much sense, and you even got some things wrong, mainly about Cave Story. Seriously, a trip to Wikipedia would have cleared that right up and saved you from looking uninformed. This list boiled down to games that disappointed you the most, and if that was the title of the video, that would have helped even a little bit. Download or even record higher quality footage if you're able to for your videos. The sloppiness in presentation is atrocious, and if you want to go anywhere, you need to up your game in that regard. You want a free downloader that can help? Ultimate Video Downloader. It can have HD footage from YouTube, Dailymotion, and Vimeo. Have at it. Don't give me any excuse about your editor, because even Movie Maker can produce high quality looking videos. One more thing. There's so much whining in this video, it's not even funny. You complain when games don't hold your hand and trust that you, the player, can figure out what to do. There's not liking an aspect in games, and then there's being childish and immature about it.
The ball's thrown to me now, huh? Alright, let's go. The reasons you game for each game on the list is honestly not good, considering how you go on your opinion of the game and never explain how it was popular in the first place. And even then you don't elaborate on shit. How you got your research on some games wrong, and how you expect every game ever to hold your hand like you're walking around Disneyland with your mommy. Hell, you even put games that were simply not your type of game in an overrated list? Look, dude, I have a question. Do you know the definition of overrated? Here, look. Overrate. Verb. Past tense overrated, past participle overrated. Have a higher opinion of someone or something than is deserved. Comparing this definition to your list, do you think that your segments in your list would be considered overrated? No, because 1, you don't elaborate, and 2, just because it's not your type of game, it doesn't mean it's overrated. I know you can keep your onions to yourself. They make me cry when I look at them anyway. But people can still debunk an opinion if it doesn't hold any water in a factual context, and frankly, that's all we're doing here. My advice is to learn what makes a game overrated and elaborate. You'll be so much better once you do.
I guess I'm last now. Okay, Luigi, let me say this. Like with anything opinionated, we don't have a problem with you not liking these games. Our problem with the video is like what Autumn said. You don't elaborate on why they are on the list. Also, I have to again point out Toon Squid's involvement in the video. Look, it's great to have a guest in your videos, however, they need to have a reason to be there, not something that is obviously shoehorned in at the last minute. No joke, it was so pointless it got to where I was about to defend the guests that appear on Tamachi Hiroka's videos, and trust me when I say that is not a compliment. Next time you have someone as a guest in your videos, unless it's for a cameo, actually make them more involved in your videos, especially when they are in the title of your video. I'll end it by saying, should you ever watch this video, I can only hope you don't take this as a personal attack on you, but more as a sign to improve on your content in the future.
Alright, we finished the commentary. Is there an exit now?
If there is, I can't tell.
Well, there you go.
We're free! See you, losers!
You know what bothers me, though?
What?
How could Renegade have kidnapped us and thrown us in here when he's as new to F.O.X as Brooke and Autumn? I joined before he did, and I have no idea how I got here either.
Raven. That's all well and good, but the most important part is that we're free!
The only person who could have kidnapped us is the person who was in F.O.X before us and read us the letter that Renegade allegedly sent.
But that would mean...
George, you're the real kidnapper!
I've already escaped! You'll never catch me alive, scrub!
Get back here, you dicking plebeian!
I'm just gonna go.
I didn't see anything you didn't.